Senatorial candidates in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon, are busy wooing the hearts of voters. In that part of the country, CPDM senatorial candidates in the northwest region of the country say that a new team should be given a chance to tackle the socio-economic problems of the people, while the Social Democratic Front, the United Democratic Party and the National Union for Democracy and Progress hold that change is necessary. We get the reaction of the officials of the various political parties taking part in the senatorial election in the chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon and in the entire region in this edition of the Primetime Newscast. Also ahead, activities at the renowned research center in Jombe of the Mongo division of Cameroon paralyzed this Wednesday after workers went on strike of unpaid salaries. Plus, Boko Haram releases more than 100 schoolgirls that were kidnapped in Nigeria in the month of February 2018. Those are headlines. Stay with us. We shall be right back. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe television. We thank you so much for joining us. We begin right away with workers at the African Center for Research on Banana and Plantain that went on rampage in Jombe, Mongo division of the littoral region of Cameroon today. But before we come back to that report, we should know that a commotion at the government primary school Ekudu, that is in the central region of Cameroon, claimed the lives of 4 pupils and left several others injured. The incident occurred this afternoon, and it occurred after some of the pupils fell into trance during rehearsals in one of the school structures. According to reports, classes have been suspended in that institution till further notice. The injured students, or pupils rather, have been rushed to nearby hospital for medical attention. We certainly will be telling you more on that in our subsequent newscast. As we announced earlier, parties taking part in the senatorial election in the northwest region of Cameroon are leaving no stone unturned to be in the spotlight and win the hearts of voters. Some of the candidates say that a solution to the Anglophone crisis is going to be possible if they are voted comes on the 25th of March 2018. Details in the following report. 4 political parties are taking part in the senatorial election in the northwest region. Barely few days to go, preparations are upbeat at the headquarters of the CPDM, the UDP, the NUDP and the Social Democratic Front. The various candidates are aware time is not on their side. They are therefore busy wooing voters in spite of the unstable socio-political climate plaguing the region. To the leader of the Social Democratic Front senatorial list, the plight of Cameroonians, particularly that of the English-speaking population, is the party's priority.
There is no gainsaying that the parliamentarians of the SF have been shouting and crying. In fact, they went out of their way to demonstrate to the Cameroonian people that they elected them and they went to parliament for them. That is why when the Anglophone crisis came to light, they did not stay out of the masses. They came down to the masses, they asked them what they thought, they went back to parliament, they insisted that this be discussed, but as you know, they formed a minority.
The Social Democratic Front holds that participating in the election is a step towards guaranteeing the change that Cameroon needs.
I don't think that staying away from the election is the best option. The Social Democratic Front, a long time ago, after the launch of the party, have been clamoring for change. Our manifesto carries one of its pointers as federalism, and therefore we are not going to walk out of that. I am a mother, and I feel very disheartened that there are children in the bush under this rain, this poor weather, soliciting and fighting for one reason or the other in relation to the Anglophone problem or Anglophone crisis that is plaguing the northwest and southwest. Everybody cannot have the same opinion. We know that they are fighting in the bushes for the sake of Anglophones. We are here using the ballot paper.
The leader of the United Democratic Party believes that the failures of his opponents further clears the way for his party.
Other political parties have senators and parliamentarians, but they took the delight to be embezzling what the government are giving them to the public. And the very people are now asking for another term of office. Ask these senators that were elected in the Northwest region, how many times have they discussed this financial, the development situation with the electorate?
Candidates of this year's CPDM senatorial list describe themselves as a people-oriented team who are aware of the challenges of the population.
We are not going to cry over what the incumbent senators did or did not do. Our ears will be on the ground, listening to the population. And then being in the Senate will give us a better opportunity to carry forward their aspirations, you see. We have certain issues now to sort out in this region. We have the issue of development. We have the issue of unemployment. We have the issue facing women. We have issue facing youths.
The leader of the NUDP senatorial list says that his party would bring change in the entire region and Cameroon in general.
Ask them to vote for the NUDP party because it's the only party that can bring the change they want. It's the only party that can make them feel like they are Cameroonians now. It's the only party to restore the hope that they need. They say in Pidgin that it's only a stubborn fly that follows the corpse to the grave. CPDM, Putuja is like a corpse. So any stubborn councillor will just follow it to the grave because it's dying.
The senatorial election holds this Sunday, and all the participating parties are confident that they would emerge victorious. Officials of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, the party of Professor Maurice Kamto, held a press conference in Yaoundé yesterday to evaluate government's management of the current socio-political crisis rocking the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon so far. Professor Maurice Kamto, who chaired the press conference in Yaoundé that was yesterday, condemned the kidnapping of some Anglophone officials in the northwest and the southwest regions for the past few weeks. The opposition party, during the said press conference on Tuesday, equally revealed that it is not standing for the partition or the cessation of Anglophone Cameroon from the Republic of the country. Let's have the details with Innocent Azen.
The continuation of the socio-political crisis in Anglophone Cameroon, which has resulted to frequent kidnappings of government authorities, is now like sour stew in the mouth of Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party. Reason for the organization of a press conference Tuesday in Yaoundé condemning the abduction of Professor Ivo Leke Tambo Saturday and rebuking repetition of such an act, as well as calls for the division of the Republic of Cameroon.
Le professeur Ivo Leke Tambo.
To Professor Maurice Kamto, these acts perpetrated by unknown gunmen bring no good fruits to the nation.
Tout ceci n'augure rien de bon pour notre pays. Jamais.
He adds that never will Cameroonians accept the separation of Cameroon, stating that both Anglophones and Francophones are determined to work hand in glove towards the development of the nation.
Qui sont déterminés.
The Cameroon Renaissance Movement shows a degree of dissatisfaction on the manner the head of state handles the crisis, with aim of maintaining national unity and territorial integrity. His love for Cameroonians is not primordial.
Aucun autre président au monde ne peut afficher autant de distance vis-à-vis de ses compatriotes.
According to the president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party, the recent cabinet shake-up by President Paul Biya is a catalyst to worsening the Anglophone crisis.
Ces nominations attestent du choix de la logique du pire.
Only one thing, Professor Maurice Kamto says, can quench the turmoil, that is, a genuine dialogue.
Seul un dialogue politique inclusif.
A move which Paul Biya and his team need to give open ears to, as it is being re-echoed by lovers of peace.
Professor Maurice Kamto, during the press conference which took place yesterday in Yaoundé, workers of the African Center for Research on Banana and Plantation say that 9 months is enough to go without salaries. They went on rampage today in Loum of the Mongo division of Cameroon, that was precisely in Jombe rather, in the Mongo division of the littoral region of Cameroon, demanding management of the company to pay their several months of unpaid salaries. Our reporter Rabiatu Aliu tells us in the following report that the management has promised to do something about the situation. Her report.
Sitting on the ground in despair was one of the ways for employees of the African Center for Research on Banana and Plantain, CABAP, in Jombe Mungo division to air their grievances. They blocked the entrance to the company Wednesday, and security forces are present to prevent the situation from escalating. The reason for their action is contained on pieces of papers brandished by the workers. They complain that they have not received salaries since July 2017 and have been unable to pay their house rent for 9 months now.
The problem is unpaid salary. We have 9 months unpaid salary. I've been waiting. The director is only promising. We are really beg if somebody can help. Let the PCA do something. We have been waiting, and now we have nothing to do. We are down till the day they pay our 9 months salary.
They have been unable to take care of their families and tackle several challenges. They say that the company looks into their problems.
Vous-même, vous pouvez imaginer ce que ça peut faire à une famille.
The director of African Center for Research on Banana and Plantain, Michael Ndumbenkeng, says he is aware of the challenges of the staff.
Donc là maintenant les recettes propres du centre ne parviennent pas.
But urge them to give him time to provide solutions. The workers are equally clamoring for the provision of other social benefits and the improvement of their working conditions.
Onto something else, how to boost the potentials and output of some countries in the Gulf of Guinea was the purpose of a multinational maritime exercise conducted here in the economic capital Douala. The initiative, launched by the United States of America several years ago, has representatives from Gabon, Equatorial Guinea in attendance. The exercise began here in the economic capital Douala, and it is known as Obangame. It seeks to conduct maritime safety and security operations in accordance with existing regional maritime framework between the United States of America and partner nations. The participating nations' navy forces' ability to mitigate seaborne threats and secure territorial waters in the Gulf of Guinea and maritime exclusive economic zones. The initiative, as I indicated, or the meeting, began here in the economic capital Douala. In the following excerpt, the U.S. Navy Captain, Mr. David Barnes, is going to be explaining the purpose of the come together. Take a listen.
Our expectations are to improve upon previous exercises, and I think about Obangame Express in 2020 and 2024 and 2025 years down the road, so that our friendships and our relations remain strong and they build over these years. And so if we have a safe exercise and we learn a lot about each other and how to work together, I think that is success. I believe the exercise is focusing on problems for not just Cameroon but the region, such as human trafficking, anti-fishing problems, and destruction of the environment. And if we can focus on those and work together to improve those, I think that is something that helps not just the people of Cameroon and the United States and the partner nations, but the people of the world. Relationships, good relations with Western African nations and our friends here in Cameroon.
We now visit a locality in the east region of Cameroon where timber is exploited on a daily basis, but the economic benefit is not felt within the community. The people of Nomejo and Nemeyong in the Lomi subdivision of the Opa Nyong division in the east region of the country are crying or complaining about neglect on the part of the government. They are now calling on the government of Cameroon to intervene to curb the over-exploitation of their natural resources. Let's have the details with Sumanjik and Gabriel.
Nemeju and Nemeyong are two villages in the Lomie subdivision anxiously waiting for development, but they don't know when it will finally come. Nature has blessed the two villages with forest resources which are illegally exploited at the detriment of the Baka Pygmies and Bantus, who are the inhabitants of the two villages, and profitable to the exploiters of the forest products. According to Bazon Jema, who manages the Nemeju community forest, the forest which is being exploited covers 1,900 hectares of land. The mayor of Abombang is one of the exploiters of our resources. Because of his illegal acts, we had a problem since he went without paying a dime. Moving in the forest gave us the opportunity to see the richness of the forest at Nemeju and Nemeyong. At Nemeju, for instance, several species exist which are cherished by the population. Moabi is the name of this tree. It is a very important tree for us. If every tree is to be cut down, we can't permit that this particular tree is brought down because it is what we inherited from our forefathers. The tree contains medicine, oil, and its fruit nourishes us. According to information gotten from several non-governmental organizations, just a meter of Moabi tree is sold at 30,000 francs, and going by the official terms, it is at least 1 million francs CFA for it to be brought down. In complicity with some selfish natives and forest agents, exploiters have played on the intelligence of the minority inhabitants of the two villages to make away with their forest resources given to them. Due to the haphazard nature at which the forest resources are being exploited, the villages are left without any development, from social amenities to houses for them to live in. The population of the two villages now live like beggars instead of having a better living standard. Teachers sent to the two villages usually threaten to strike because of the little salaries they receive. The Minister of Nature Protection and Wildlife is called upon to save the forest resources which are being exploited illegally at Nemeju and Nemeyong.
And in news out of Cameroon, the Nigerian government says that the decision against military confrontation was part of an agreement for the release of some 100 schoolgirls in Nigeria by Boko Haram militants. President Muhammadu Buhari's government confirmed that 101 out of the 110 girls are free, and the number would rise after the remaining ones have been documented. Details with Oro News.
Islamist militants have freed dozens of schoolgirls kidnapped in Nigeria. Families were devastated when 110 girls aged from 11 to 19 were seized in Dapchi a month ago, echoing the abductions of the Chibok schoolgirls in 2014. Witnesses said fighters from the Boko Haram group, some shouting "God is greatest," drove the majority of the Dapchi girls back into the northeastern town today. Some of those freed said 5 of their friends had died in captivity. Nigeria's government insists no ransom was paid and that the release was secured through what it called back-channel efforts and with the help of some friends of the country.
And former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is in custody for the second day over allegations of Libyan funding during the 2007 election campaign. During today's questioning, he dismissed allegations that he received money from the dictatorial regime of Muammar Gaddafi. Details once again with Oro News.
Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is in custody for a second day over allegations of Libyan funding of the 2007 election campaign. After a short night at home, the 63-year-old returned to the anti-corruption office of Nanterre, west of Paris. This custody should last a maximum of 48 hours before leading to a release or an indictment, but it can also be presented to a judge for a new summons. The judges have been investigating this case for 5 years. His party, the Republicans, say they're unhappy with the situation. He will have a dismissal and again he will be dirty, but still once when it is whitewashed there will only be small lines of it in the press. 11 years is very long without ever being able to establish the facts, which would argue in favour all the same of being insistent rather than fierce. Yesterday, Sarkozy's former Interior Minister appeared in an open hearing. As Bryce Hortefeux left late Tuesday night, he tweeted, "The clarifications made must allow to close a succession of errors and lies." The former president has dismissed the Libyan allegations of receiving money from the dictatorial regime of Gaddafi as grotesque and a crude manipulation.
And in sports, the CAF inspection mission continued visiting infrastructures to host the 2019 AFCON Games in Cameroon. They were here in the economic capital Douala after they were in Garwa of the north region of Cameroon. They visited stadia here in the city of Douala. We would be telling you more on that in our subsequent newscast. Meantime, players of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon arrived Kuwait City early today, except Vincent Abubakar and Lionel Bon, who are due to arrive the country. That's going to be tomorrow morning. Joel Tague would also have to arrive later, as indicated by the management of his Maritimo Football Club in Portugal. According to the team press officer of the national football squad, the first training session of the players will take place this evening. They're bringing us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. Viewers, we thank you for joining us, wishing you a blessed day in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.